Okay, those were the recommendations from our experts. Now it's Tuesday. Remember, Tuesday we talk about all your mutual fund queries. And Anil Rego joins us to answer all your questions. Let's straight go to him with the questions. And Anil, the first question comes as an email from an investor here, Rajesh Kumar, I think he is. And his question says, I want to invest in an agri-focused fund. What are the options for me? What would you advise him, Anil? What are some of those agri-focused funds which can be good for him? This budget has had a lot to say about that.
Sure, I think there are not many options which are today available for the Indian investor there. Sundaram has a rural fund, which something one could look at. JM has an agri and infrastructure fund. So, I'm not recommending that because of the infrastructure mix as well, and makes it a little risky as a fund there. So, but at the same time, I would think that one needs to look at, whether one should be doing a sectoral fund in the first place. I think a lot of investors end up, burning their fingers, going into sectors, and afterwards realizing they've not got out in time. Now the sector may do well, like the infrastructure sector, but if you don't get out, then you have a problem there. So I would suggest that considering we don't have too many funds out there, maybe stick to diversified funds. One could use stuff like, let's say, Reliance RSF. You could have stuff like Sundaram Select Mid Cap, or ICICI Discovery as mid cap funds. So I would rather go with diversified funds for a retail investor.
Hi Anil, good afternoon. This is our next question that's coming in. This investor says, I've invested in 2 infra funds. We were talking earlier about the risk associated with sector-specific funds. This investor says the performance of these 2 funds has been so poor that I don't even look at them regularly. With nearly 50% loss, what should I do? Straight question out there. What should I do? Because I've lost so much money and I've lost interest in even tracking the performance of these funds.
Sure. No, I would think you should probably leave it like that. You can maybe lose interest in that for some time, maybe a few years, see how markets do. At the same time, I don't think we should be averaging out. I don't think we should be putting additional money into an infrastructure fund. I would rather, again, use diversified funds instead of, averaging out there. And I would stay put, wait for a couple of years, funds which are really battered down, recover a bit. And that's the time when one could, exit and again move to a diversified fund.
Okay, diversified funds better than sector-specific funds. Infrastructure in this case losing big time on this investment. The next question comes, and this investor has asked, I've invested in Reliance regular saving equity funds nearly 3 years ago. Returns are still good, and I'm now looking for better return. Is this a good time to switch, Anil? What would you advise for someone? If it's working, why try to fix it?
Sure. I agree with you. Actually, many times we try to look for something which is better and maybe end up with something which is worse. Okay, so Reliance RSF has been a very good fund. I think they move a little between large caps and mid caps there. So I think they will end up capturing the market move, even the mid cap cycle a little bit as well. A fantastic track record. So I would rather stay with a good track record fund there. Except for the fact that maybe sometimes I've got a very good return and then I want to book some profits. If one does a profit booking, then maybe one could move it to a floating rate fund and then do a systematic transfer, maybe even on a weekly basis into a mid cap fund like a Discovery or a Sundaram Select Mid Cap. That may lower your risk a little. At the same time, you are moving into something which probably gives you a higher return potential over a 2 to 3 year period.
We have one investor writing in saying he is interested in diversifying his mutual fund portfolio. He's already invested in equity funds and he wants to consider investing in the Fidelity Global Real Asset Fund. He wants you to rate that option or that investment option, Anil.
Sure, I would be a little negative on the overseas focused real estate funds for 2 reasons. One is I think globally there's been a bit of a meltdown, and that's a sector which has been really badly hit there. So I would rather stay away, and because such sectors take a longer time to come back. The second is, I think, also importantly, is the exchange rate risk, and we believe that the rupee will appreciate pretty strongly over the next 2 to 3 years. So maybe a good part of the return that comes in can also get eroded away there. So I would focus on opportunities which maybe are a little India focused, even if it's on the real estate side. Hopefully we'll have real estate REITs coming in, or real estate mutual funds coming in. I think that may be a better option to do than have something which also has an exchange rate risk.
Fair point. Anil, what are your picks in this market? Any schemes that you think have the potential to outperform?
Sure. I would still go with a systematic investment, or even if I have lump sum money, do a systematic transfer. And when I do that and I'm taking a lower risk, maybe I can use higher risk funds. I can even use a small cap type of fund. We have funds like a Sundaram Smile, DSP, BlackRock had a small and mid cap fund. So those are funds which one could use. You could also use some bit into the mid cap focused funds itself, like a Sundaram Select Mid Cap, an ICICI Discovery Fund, Birla Mid Cap. So I would probably do that in this current scenario there, where markets can move either way. Okay, phase it in over 6 months, and I think you'll do well.
Anil Rego, thanks very much as always for joining us on BioSell. See you soon again. Just want to flag off a little interesting bit of news that's come out. FAME India, it had 3-week trading sessions last week, but it's picked up steam again and it's up nearly 5%. And it's worth noting that FAME India has appointed the future group chairman, Kishore Bayani, as an independent director on the board of the company. I wonder what prompted that, but we won't analyze those developments on BioSell. We're out of time. Profit Newsroom is coming right up.
So stay on with NDTV. We'll get you the latest on what's happening in business.